whose fault is that? Is it mine or is it Sony's for not giving me an actual charger? Okay, now we can get to the actual camera itself, and it looks super cool. Okay, that's kind of why I wanted this, right? Because I wanted something a little different. What's up, everybody? I'm Z-Wade, the Z-Wade, and Z-Wade Photo, coming at you from the home office of Z-Wade Photo LLC. And today, I'm excited because I have made up my mind on the Sony camera that I will be using for my YouTube channel. No, I'm not switching from Nikon. Nikon is still the brand that I go to work with, but I would like to have a Sony camera to own and a Canon camera to own. At the making of this video, I have not made up my mind on the Canon mirrorless camera that I want to use. This is for lens comparisons and just for something different. And I think you'll see by my decision on which Sony camera to get, it is something just a little bit different. In the comments below, let me know what Sony camera you use and why you like it or don't like it. Also, if you enjoy the content, I hope you'll consider liking, sharing, and subscribing. And so the Sony camera I have chosen to own for my YouTube channel is the Sony A7c. Specifically, this is the silver top plate one. But oh my gosh, Zach, why not get the A7 III? It's got more buttons and stuff. Well, like I said, if I'm gonna do this, I just wanted something a little bit different. And this is definitely a little bit different because Canon, which I will own one of at some point, they don't have anything that's really different like this. And so I wanted something a little bit different. The rangefinder style seems kind of cool. And I know people talk about how this is a video kind of focused camera. I disagree. I think it's going to be perfectly fine for, photos, right? And just for going out and just having a different feel kind of experience. And so we're going to get into this here. I don't need to explain myself, but I like to on these improvised videos. Okay, so first off, we've got this really corny A7c strap. I say it's corny because the included straps are always corny. And this one is especially corny as it has absolutely no padding or anything. This is probably the worst included camera strap I've ever seen. But it's fine because I don't use them. I throw it off to the side, but it is going to go back in the box in case I ever want to sell this. Because if you've watched any of my videos before, we always keep our stuff off to the side, kind of thrown in here with no real care. This kind of makes me wonder, is Sony's packaging traditionally kind of crummy, or is this an open box and it was sold to me as brand new? Because these are just kind of thrown in here without any real care. That's whatever. So this is the battery. A little chunky. And then we've got this. Please tell me this isn't what they want me to charge this with. Throw that off to the side. I don't see anything else in here. So here is the kit lens. I will do a separate video with this. This happens to be the, the 28 to 60 f4.56. A lot of people complain about this lens, saying that it just kind of sucks, but I've seen maybe one or two smaller channels that seem to be happy with it. I'm sure it's perfectly fine, but I do hate variable aperture lenses, so this will probably get sold after I do a review. I just don't care about variable apertures. I find them restrictive. We'll set that to the side for now, and I'm going to set the camera to the side first because I want to make sure I have all of the included parts. Hold the F up here. Let's see. AC adapter, rechargeable battery pack, shoulder strap, zoom. Is there seriously no charger included for this? You're just supposed to charge in camera? Because I don't like that. I don't like charging my cameras through USB-C because I don't like my camera being plugged into the wall, right? That scares me because if anything happens, right, and I get a surge to my camera and I fry the motherboard, I'm going to be really, really upset. Whereas if a battery fries while it's plugged into the wall and your house doesn't burn down, it's fine. You get another battery for, what, $100 maybe if you get the name brand stuff. If it fries your motherboard, whose fault is that? Is it mine or is it Sony's for not giving me an actual charger? Because there's nothing in here, Sony. We're off to a bad start. I don't like that. I want an actual wall charger, so now I have to find one. Hopefully they make one. I don't know. Let me know in the comments below if you have any recommendations of approved battery chargers for the Sony A7c battery. So here's the cable that normally I just leave these in the box because I don't need any more cables, and I just leave them in the box for whenever I'm ready to sell this thing, but God, it's just, that's crazy to me. And it's weird too, because I was looking at used ones. The price wasn't good enough for me to buy one, but they were listed as with the AC adapter, and then they had one that was listed like with the charger. And so since this one is brand new, I guess I expected there to be a charger, like an actual charger, but there's not. Okay, now we can get to the actual camera itself, and it looks super cool. Okay, that's kind of why I wanted this, right? Because I wanted something a little different, right? And this is definitely a little different than what I'm used to. I'm mostly interested in reviewing lenses and comparing lenses amongst the brands, but if I have to have a camera to do that, so I can rent the lenses, then it might as well be like a fun camera to use, and this seems like it's going to be pretty fun. What I find really kind of intriguing about the Sony cameras is like the mount is so small compared to the Z system, right? Like this reminds me of like F mount, and so there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, there's benefits to having a big mount, but anyway, I'm rambling. Let's see how the buttons feel. The mode switch feels nice and clicky and high quality. The exposure compensation, which I don't really use, it feels good. Record button feels okay. The on-off switch, they should have made that out of metal. It feels like plastic or very thin metal, but it's totally fine. Got a pretty crummy feeling back command dial. Actually, that's the only command dial. That's pretty crummy feeling. It feels very cheap. It doesn't have like a lot of click to it, which is fine, but the camera feels cold and industrial, which I like. And then you got this back command dial that kind of feels a little cheesy. The diopter's got a lot of noise to it. That's fine. It's nice and clicky. Let's feel the buttons. Menu feels a little cheesy. The function button feels a little cheesy. For what it's worth, most of the buttons feel a little bit sloppy. Sony, I guess I expect a little bit more. At this day and age, those need to feel a little bit better, I feel. That AF on button has kind of a long push to it. And they just, like, they move to the side, right? Like, you can feel them like a loose tooth. The trash can button, which you should never use to delete pictures internally, it feels okay. I don't know why they couldn't do that with the rest of them. The shutter button does feel pretty good, and it's just nice and cold, right? So there's a lot of metal on the body. You can feel that it's metal. And so I like that. And I will say, the wheel, this back wheel, while pushing the buttons feels a little flimsy, it does feel good to turn it. It's got a nice spin. The flip out screen feels way better than Canon screens. The Canon screens, whenever you flip them out, I mean, they feel like you could literally just like pull them off. They're very floppy on the vertical side of things. Like when you do this, they're very floppy. This one isn't super sturdy, but it is nicer than the Canon flip out screens. If that kind of thing matters to you, I prefer screens that don't flip out, you know, because I like to do a lot of low shots and high shots and, you know, things like whatever. I don't like the flippiness, because whenever I turn this out here like that, to me, it's not only is it awkward, but it actually kind of, the act of turning the head and crouching, it kind of sends nerve pain down to an old injury. You've probably heard me talk about that before. I actually like the locking nature of this door. I wish all Nikon cameras had locks on them. On the Z6 and 7 and 6.2 and 7.2, it's like this push and pull. And there's nothing really wrong with that, but, you know, at the same time, it doesn't feel as sturdy as that. And then you lock it, right? And you don't have to worry about bumping it. It's not gonna do anything, right? On the Nikons, you can bump it open. I have to remember not to look at the Atomos and to look at the lens. Someone who's been YouTubing for 2 years would have figured that out already. Let's see if I have any charge on the battery. I doubt there's that much factory charge. Actually, there usually is, but I find that to be slightly irresponsible. Okay, so that has to lock too. That one, I don't find that to be as necessary to like lock, you know? But, because it's not like there's, you can't really bump those. But anyway, it's whatever. Let's turn this thing on. Oh God, I have to totally set it up with the date and time before I get into it. And so it's like I can't even do anything. But that's okay. I'll just do a separate video where I take this out for the first time. I can't shoot it today anyway because it's disgusting. And the lens that I bought that you'll see coming up is actually not weather sealed at the back because Sony is corny as F. Oh wait, hey, there we go. That shutter is very satisfying. It's got like a, like you can kind of feel it, but it's kind of quiet. You know, it kind of reminds me a little bit of like a Leica click, actually. I like the click, although I knew it had a satisfying click. Not that that matters. That's not, has nothing to do with camera quality, but I knew it had that little fun. I knew it had that because I've actually shot one of these before. If anything, I just wish there was like a couple more function buttons, like maybe just like one up here, because since we don't have a front command dial, I need something to more effectively change my ISO besides clicking a button and turning it. But you know what? It's fine. This is really just to compare lenses and to just have some fun with, and I think that the lens that I have will be a great place to start. So make sure that you subscribe and hit the bell notifications because the next video that you see on my channel will be about the lens that I bought, not the one that came with this, but one that I bought that is better suited for what I'm going to use this for. I'm Z Wade, the Z Wade and Z Wade Photo, and we'll see you soon. What the f***, is the battery dead? Yeah.